Welcome to the first episode of my Sicily Chronicles, going back to my roots, if you will, as I returned to Italy, where my very first chronicles sprung to life 3 years ago. This was a very special trip, partly because 3 years ago, when we took that trip to Italy as a family, I found myself the last night bawling my eyes out in the bathroom of our Rome hotel in grief of what I thought would be our last ever trip like this. Certain our schedules would never realign in summer, literally feeling like I was saying goodbye to my childhood, to prolonged periods of family time. There is indeed a reason my mom nicknamed me the drama queen growing up, but it really did feel that way as I headed off to university. Luckily, we've always found a way to gather and find each other in the summer, whether in the outskirts of Quebec or across the ocean. This year was an extra special one as my parents have been talking of exploring Sicily for years. In this first episode, we arrived to Palermo, Sicily's capital, and home to the best cannolis I have ever had. I'll be honest, Palermo was my least favorite spot we visited. I'm not the biggest history buff, so I didn't feel pulled in by the city that is renowned for its history and not as much for its food. I hate giving bad reviews, so I won't, because every city has its pros and its cons, but full transparency, I did not flash on Palermo as much as I would have liked. Despite this, we had a great few days here and sought out the hidden and not so hidden food gems of the city progressively. Any family vacation time is special, so we had a blast regardless. From the jump, Palermo struck me as two things: utterly chaotic and peacefully still. Ça va. The simultaneous chaos and quietude of the city kind of mimicked the transition from busy to slow we were all undergoing as we went from finishing finals and crossing T's and dotting I's in work to full-blown vacation mode. I felt almost paralyzed from switching gears so abruptly. Shifting from fast to slow pace so suddenly literally made me stall. I can't remember the last time I took a hiatus from YouTube, so that was an adjustment, not having a video on standby and footage to edit throughout. Therefore, Palermo was our kind of transition city, if you will, where we eased out of our working garb and into our tourist uniforms and roles of food critics, sunbathers, and sightseers. What a travel day we've had. I've never heard that before. Okay, so we're going to a coffees, a mix of a coffee shop and an office space. Sometimes you just need that kind of vibe. I want like a nice latte. I'm reading Motherhood by Sheila Heti. It's amazing, and I will talk more about it because I'm so blown away by how amazing it is. Like, I did not expect that at all. When I started, I was kind of like, oh, I have to read it for school, and I was kind of like, ugh, if I want to read something like this right now, like, I'm not even nearing being interested in having babies, obviously. Well, not obviously, but well, I mean, obviously for me anyways. I'm just really not there in my life yet, and so I was just kind of like, ugh, probably just gonna be something I have to like push through, but I'm so enthralled. Had such a brutal travel day. 7.5 hours to get to Zurich. 45-minute connection that we almost missed. We were running through the airport, running through security, got stuck at what's it called, duties, because my freaking passport didn't get stamped on my way out of Portugal. We were there as our flight was leaving. Kept running. We made it on, but our bags did not. Mine did, but Mom's and Mila's didn't. And so, yeah, just slept for like way too long, which is bad because I'm gonna be jet lagged. So we're getting out of the house now. Finishing touches. A bunch of replica. You know, I'm a big replica girl. I want to try one that I have not tried before. Springtime in a park, under the lemon trees. Which one should I do? Under the lemon trees, Mom? Very Italy. Oh. Replica. I don't know how you do it. The first few days of adjustments, inevitable fights, decompressing, and leaving behind the hold that home has on our routines, mindsets, and goals were not the smoothest, but we still managed to get the most out of the city. Found matcha. My mom and I had a few mother-daughter days where we had matcha dates and long-needed catch-ups. This is amazing. Stretching with a view. She's going in for the stretch. We had compulsory first night Aperols and chips before heading to a restaurant around the corner where we had another non-negotiable, pasta. My cacio e pepe was good. I don't know about everyone else's pasta, but that's none of my business. That said, the meal was saved by the setting. I forgot how magical it is to sit and enjoy a meal in front of literal architectural masterpieces. It's truly surreal. Good morning. Had such a good sleep. I don't really feel jet lagged at all, to be honest. Dead cool. Fragrance 05. This prop up is jail. And then I'm going to take my prebiotic fiber gummies. I take 3 per day. It's not gonna last me the whole trip. Herbal Land. I take these so that transition from North American food to Italian food doesn't hit me like a truck. I could eat this whole bag in a sitting. What do prebiotics even do? What's fiber?
Keeping you regular so you don't get constipated when you travel.
Well, there you have it. I'll let you know. Probably won't, but.
Vuoi quello, madame. Quello very, very good.
Picking up the goods for breakfast. Fruit, pastries, now onto matcha and coffee. Got some mini peaches, strawberries, a donut. Ciabella.
Ciao, is here extra syllable.
Some croissant.
I'll bring that outside. Is it any good? Of course it's good.
Very fresh. I'm a happy girl. We're just gonna go 10 on the balcony and I'm gonna read my book. So bad right now. My first book of the trip was Motherhood by Sheila Hady. I read this off the back of reading lots of books about grief, and I noticed a similar grief-laden rhetoric in Hady's writing about the prospect of never having kids. Writing about loss of the living and the unborn can be somewhat similar. I therefore read her book as a grieving piece of the motherhood she'll never experience, despite not even wanting it at all to begin with. I think it is possible to grieve things even when you don't want to. The novel is autofiction, and Hady's narrator describes her many questionings and thought processes surrounding her conundrum of whether or not to have kids as her biological clock runs out. She uses 3 coins throughout the novel to provide her with yes or no answers to her philosophizing questions, answers she then uses to create her art, which is that of writing. A big question she ponders is whether an artist's body of work can stand in for children, fill in that supposed void women are meant to feel if they don't have offspring. We are so ingrained with the notion that women's primary roles are to bear children that many of us feel we are missing out and sacrificing a part of ourselves by choosing not to go down that path. I asked my mom whether she ever questioned wanting kids, and she said that deep down she always knew she did, but that she had a moment when she thought she could live a life that was more centered around her art and herself, but ultimately she couldn't imagine living a full life without kids. It was really when she went out and spoke with other women about it that she became conscious that it is a choice. And I feel like this book in many ways made that clear to me too, that some women simply do not want kids. I don't think that was something I've ever fully considered. Like, I just never really thought about it. I've just never thought of what that would look like for me, I guess. And although I can't say it made me question my desire to have children, it definitely reminded me that it is a choice. Hady's narrator also shares the weight that this conundrum places on her, the fear that her feelings may just be temporary, that she may want kids eventually. Merged with the expectations she feels from friends and family, she comes to terms with the fact that her feelings are inherent to her and that she doesn't have to change them. One thing that really stuck with me is how she describes herself as not a mother. There's an inherent negative to choosing to be quote unquote not a mother, but Hady's narrator refuses that. She declares that deciding not to have children does not make a woman not something, and I just loved that. I left this book thinking about how the feminine experience is inherently defined by grief. We're forced to grieve our youthful bodies, to grieve the privileges that come with having those bodies. We learn this is tied to how society views us as valuable insofar as we have the ability to reproduce. For women, growing older is grieving not only agility and clear-mindedness, but also being perceived as a valuable and productive member of society. Obviously, these things are changing, but it's still a big part of the feminine experience. I highly recommend. Mama! We need to do some more daytime exploring. We haven't really done that yet. The good statement. Hoops. This is Susmi's. This is what we have on the lips. Yeah. Oddly Shorts, Elwood, crew neck. 2 of my faves. I got my wax, which was lovely. Ended up talking a bunch with the woman who was doing it. Shout out to Daria. She taught me a few swear words in Italian. I adore these earrings. My lip liner looks like I just drank chocolate milk because it's so smudged. These earrings are by The Good Statement, Copenhagen brand. They do such a good job of making funky pieces that are still like wearable. Charlotte Tilbury in 2 medium, and I'm using the Jisoo strawberry punch. Headed to dinner. We're going to that seafood place. Just wearing this Tommy sweater and my Peachy Den trousers. I literally packed 2 pairs of pants. I did not think it would be this cold at night. Do you want this on top?
I don't like shiny on me.
I love shiny.
I like it matte.
How pretty is this lip combo?
Yeah,
no?
that is nice.
It's nice and pink. It's still dark. Dinner took place somewhere I won't even name because it was so bad. I got the ricci pasta, which is sea urchin. I will literally eat any type of pasta. Fish pasta, I don't mind, but this was bad fishy. I'm sorry, it didn't do it for me. I desperately had to make up for that travesty of a meal with ice cream. However, I accidentally ordered pistachio cream instead of gelato, so that was just a lot. It was not my best night. Don't worry, the food does get better throughout this vlog, so bear with me. We enjoyed breakfast on this beautiful patio. This spot is famous for their desserts, which we ordered none of. I feel like we really struggled in Palermo with food. We were off our game, still foggy from the airplane air, I guess. Nevertheless, the omelets and the tea were lovely, and the setting in and of itself made the outing so enjoyable. My parents and I then went exploring and happened upon many markets, one of which we got olives and oil for dinner at. Palermo is a city of great extremes, and this walk compounded that for us. So many of you recommended this pastry shop inside a monastery, and that description alone sold me beyond the actual number of times it got recommended. We went in the afternoon and were greeted by quite the line. With lines, I never know if I'm about to walk into the biggest tourist trap or the loveliest gem of a place. This ended up being the latter. Desserts upon desserts, freshly made, the biggest cannolis I have ever eaten, assembled before our very eyes, customized to our liking, just a sweet tooth person's dream.
As a topping, do you want everything? No,
Oh my god. Very neat. Dinner was a makeshift arrangement of all the food we accumulated throughout the days, which in my family is no short of a lot of stuff. My parents love food and love to try different things.
Ask the girl.
Octopus, very chewy.
What is?
The octopus, it's pretty good.
C'est-tu des pommes de terre?
Okay, next, olive verdi, bomba dell'Etna. That's really good.
No, I just put pepper because it's already salty.
No. Moi, je regardais là.
Ils appellent ça du fromage ricotta, mais
We're gonna walk around the city today. Notice, I feel it. No, I feel like we visited a palace the next day as our main cultural activity in Palermo. It was magnificent. From the gold fresques in the cathedral to the huge staircases, it was quite a sight for sore eyes. My dad did say the guide was not the most comprehensive, so maybe do some research before going if you're interested in the history of it all. We got pizza for lunch, which was delicious. Very crisp.
Rating 10 on 10, made the right choice.
Oh, voilà. Good, but sweet as fuck.
Wearing my dad's Samster jacket. I freaking love it. And this put-in bag. Ça marche. I look like I'm going to a corporate meeting. Going to the office. J'aime comment on est différent. I love also eating at 8. I used to be like, I hate eating late, but the ambiance at 8 when the sun is just going down and everyone's out having a drink and having food is so the vibe. We're staying in the old town, but right now we're walking through, I feel like a more like young and more local area. Just ran into a Québécois. He just looks at us and he's like, Québécois. Yes, sir. You could hear us from a mile away, and you know, we recognize Québécois always. It's kind of fun. No, but
Our last night was our best. We began with small plates at Ojda, which was the best find. I cannot recommend the spot enough. Go at lunchtime if you want pasta though, because they don't serve it at night. Great cocktails and atmosphere.
Bon, la brioche est vraiment bonne.
oh, it's working.
She made it happen, y'all.
Honestly, a journey. At the restaurant number 2, we're trying Bistro for some pasta. Ojda was delicious. Just these entrées. Round 2. Inception. Twins.
Around the corner was Bistro, another fantastic restaurant where I got my first of many bussiate dishes. I asked the waiter to advise and she said the zucchini one was her favorite, so I obviously got that. It was delicious. It was so fresh. Really made up for all of our questionable calls food-wise throughout our stay here. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the beautiful mountains of Cefalù.